Just want to do a quick intro to this video on the anatomy of a Coinbase transaction by explaining what the Coinbase transaction is. So a block is mined every 10 minutes, roughly speaking, in the Bitcoin network. And every block has on it what's called a Coinbase transaction. And what this contains is the block subsidy. Some call it the block reward. I like the term subsidy because it rightfully explains how my understanding of how Satoshi wanted this to work was that every 4 years, the halving occurs so that the amount of payout in the Coinbase transaction cuts in half. And why that happens is because Satoshi envisioned that that would be enough time to subsidize the network so that the transaction fees go up. And with a scaled Terra node infrastructure, we believe that can happen. What the Coinbase transaction does is it puts into circulation that already issued coin. And at this point in time, it's 3.125 roughly Bitcoin. So that's only going to go down for the miners. And so we need the transactions to go up. Anyway, enjoy this anatomy of a Coinbase transaction. All right, so I had a question on X yesterday about the BSV Intel report. And if you go down to the bottom, the question was asked why these versions of BSV node software, the SV node software, were not up to date with respect to the Chronicle update that happens tomorrow. And I said that these are not minor nodes. These 18 peers are peers that my relay bridge has connected with in the P2P network. So they're probably infrastructure nodes of some kind. I don't know, but they're not miners. So I'll probably either put a note on this or take it off the report. But the fun thing I wanted to show you is that I built this. This isn't publicly available because it is on my infrastructure, but it uses the same data pipeline that my report, the daily Intel report, uses. And what I'm doing here is I'm analyzing a Coinbase transaction on any block. So, you could do this on What's on Chain if you wanted. I'm just using peer-to-peer data. So I call the peer-to-peer network and I ask for a specific block. And one of those peers gives me the data that I'm requesting. So, and it's the whole block. So when I hit analyze here, it stops at the first transaction because a Coinbase transaction is always the first one in any block. And you can see this one is a Gorilla Pool one. So, this should make sense. Total block reward is 3.13, etc. BSV. You can see that I have the raw hex here, and that's what gets translated. So I'm not making this stuff up. I'm translating that raw hex to the block height, the miner tag, and then decoded. And that is in the script SIG, the input part of the transaction. The outputs, now in this case, Gorilla Pool probably pays out to other people because it is a pool. Let's do another one. Let's see, that's 640. Let's do 943639. 9639. And analyze that one. It's probably not Gorilla Pool if I had to guess, but this one is TAAL. Theirs is a little simpler. So there's your raw hex, on the input. It's got a miner tag. Outputs, just a P2P KH to one address. And the total is 3.12, etc. BSV. All right, let's just do another one. Let's do 643. See what happens here. Also TAAL. Same drill. Let's do 644. Also TAAL. I mean, they do the majority of transactions, so I mean, I'm not shocked. Okay, here's another one. Same, very simple, pay us to this P2P KH transaction, the block reward. However, that doesn't mean they don't have a spreadsheet somewhere that pays out to a pool or something. I don't know anything about QD Link, nor do I really know how TAAL works either. Gorilla Pool just happens to be a bit more transparent about how they do the payout. And that's it. So we just showed 3 different miners and the anatomy of their Coinbase transaction.